I'm not sure, but I think I just saw Tony genuflect. More respect for Ron Magill than even when he was playing basketball against the gangly 6'7", 6'8" old man Ron Magill who blocked your shot.
He did, Dan, but at this point I have to genuflect before the man who – there's only a couple people in this Hall of Fame. Dan, he is in the Our Better's Hot Dog Hall of Fame. And if you don't know what that is, on 87th and Bird Road, there is an establishment, a Miami staple, Our Better's Hot Dogs, that is the only wooden structure for like 25 miles, okay? And Ron was there yesterday, shaking hands, kissing babies, being inducted into the Our Better's Hall of Fame.
We are now in the accolades and honors portion of the Ron Magill career. Where does this one rank, Ron? Because this is Maximum Miami, getting into this Hall of Fame.
That is maximum. It ranks way up there. I mean, I went there when I was in high school with the guys. It was a cool place to meet. We could eat every kind of hot dog you could ever think of. Ronnie Arbetter, one of the past owners who, God rest his soul, I played point guard. He played point guard on our team at Betham for the 45 and older league when we won the league at Betham.
Greg, why are you laughing? Greg, are you laughing at him getting high school nostalgic? Why are you laughing?
I know. I just, Ron, is there any event in South Florida or worldwide that you would not attend if invited?
Oh, no.
Shut up, Greg.
No.
You should be so lucky.
Oh, no.
I just feel like...
have you ever had Our Better's glizzy?
You know what?
No.
We'd never hear the end of it if you were inducted into the same Hall of Fame. You wouldn't shut up about it. It would be on your topic list. You'd want to dedicate 3 podcast episodes to it. You looking down on the Our Better's Hall of Fame is rich.
Unbelievable.
I'm actually a member of a Hot Dog Hall of Fame as well. Lawton's in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
It's not
I'm
true.
in the Lawton Hall of Fame.
It's not even there anymore.
Speak about it. You're right, it isn't. But the Hall of Fame exists in perpetuity. And I'll always be a member. Not a charter member, unfortunately.
Greg, we were talking about one of the great honors of Ron Magill's career.
Our Better's Hall of Fame?
And you could not stifle your laughter.
I know, I'm sorry.
You couldn't stifle your laughter.
It's just funny. A Hot Dog Hall of Fame. I thought I was in the only one. I didn't know Our Better's had a Hall of Fame.
Greg, stop with your made-up story and stop deflecting that I caught you in an honest moment. You weren't expecting me to go to you. You were laughing at Ron Magill's honor.
Funny. It's funny to me. Isn't it funny, Ron? It's a Hot Dog Hall of Fame.
It's funny that I was inducted into it. I mean, I still hold it in really high esteem. I don't know if I deserve to be there.
How do they make their dogs? I've never had an Our Better's dog.
You've offended Ron. You guys made a book together, and now you've offended Ron.
A book. We made a baby together, Ron and I.
I don't put it that way.
We birthed the book.
Open my mouth a little bit.
Hello.
Hey, yo.
No, it's a great honor. It really is. It's fantastic.
There's a lot of great people there. There's a lot of great history. That might not be a great honor for somebody who lives in Georgia, but anybody who lives in South Florida, who grew up in Miami, Our Betters. Our Betters.
It's really.
I don't think Broward people know about Our Betters. Yeah, I don't.
It's really disrespectful.
I said grew up in Miami.
What you did.
Grew up in Miami.
87 Bird Road, right there.
You were.
See me, baby. That's what all the Columbus, Southwest, Palmetto, all the people went there. We all went there.
You know what? Hold on a second. Greg Cody's Broward is showing here. That's what it is.
Yeah, 954 all the way, baby. 954 all the way. I don't even know if there's a great hot dog joint in
If there were a Jackson's Ice Cream Hall of Fame and you got the Hall of Fame of Jackson Ice Cream,
that would be an honor.
You would be doing weeks of shows. Hee Haw 3 would be playing there and selling merch.
Oh, my God. Could
What
we?
is Jackson Ice Cream? What is that?
Jackson's Ice Cream? You don't know? Come on.
Oh, see, Tony.
What is that?
So your Miami
it's
is
the
showing.
best
What
ice
is that?
cream in America.
What is
Tony.
that?
It's like a known ice cream shop in Broward.
Yeah.
Oprah
Broward.
went there.
You said it, Broward.
Obama went
Got it.
there. The kitchen sink. You never had the kitchen sink thing?
I think it's actually UD's uncle is the guy who owns that place.
Jackson's?
Really? How about that?
Yeah, I know he has a connection to it.
Is it common for restaurants to have halls of fame? I ask that seriously. Like, is there a Ruth Chris Hall of Fame? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's places, you go to places like the Stage Deli. You go to places like, what's that place that used to put all the portraits on the wall? The steakhouse, the big steakhouse they used to have.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, we're talking old steakhouses with Ron Magill and Greg Cody.
The Buford Grill.
I want to play for Ron and the audience. I want to show them what Ron is claiming is the single cutest animal he has ever worked with in his life. Let's look at this picture here. It was adorable. It looks like a stuffed animal. And Greg Cody, look at this picture right here. You tell me if you've ever seen a cuter animal than the one Ron Magill is holding right here.
It looks like a stuffed animal. It looks like an Easter bunny. That can't be real.
That looks like the slipper they used to put on. The little girls used to put on those little bunny slippers. That's what it looks like.
That can't be real.
And that's why I included a video in there so people could see I wasn't joking. The thing is alive. It's real.
Oh, that's crazy.
And what is the story? Is there a story? You just what did this knock off? What was the cutest animal you held before this one?
Gosh, I don't know. It probably like a koala or baby cheetah or something like that. But this thing that just seemed unreal. It seemed almost caricaturish. I mean, I looked at it and it was cuter than any little stuffed plush toy I saw in the gift shop. The thing was just unreal looking. I've never seen. And listen, I want to make it really clear. Generally speaking, rabbits don't make good pets. So I'm not endorsing to have a rabbit as a pet. But this rabbit was special. I've never seen anything like it.
Who would win a fight, that rabbit or a full-grown lion?
What? Greg, go sit in the penalty box.
No, I'm just curious.
That's a penalty box.
Greg, go sit in the penalty box. Greg, go sit in the penalty box.
You don't know
Get out of
you
here.
ask.
Just go sit in the penalty box and throw him in a jungle.
Please,
God, what a terrible.
You don't know.
Greg, just get out of here. Just. I'll tell you what happened. He got the promotions in early for his podcast. He's a star in Vegas. He did that whole singing thing in Vegas. It's gone totally to his head. He's got a best-selling book with you, and he's totally out of control because now the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is also taken off because he does exclusive interviews with Hee Haw 3. And he's just and last night was the PFPI Gala, which we haven't even talked about.
Sunday night, yeah.
But he's useless for 3 days after that because he's drinking up all his fame, all his stupid celebrity fame.
It's annoying, honestly. The 2 days after the gala is always just, and then with last week with the Hee Haw 3, he's on another one this week.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what's happening.
Greg, I know.
But it's gone to his head over the last 3 weeks.
That's sad.
Well, I don't know which is sadder. Mike Ryan, I was talking to him during the break. He thinks it's a greater trick to pull, not the Hee Haw 3 stardom of Greg Cody. Stugotz has a book that's coming out. We're not sure he's actually writing it. And
we're sure that he did not write it. Yeah. The credit that he is taking for himself is that these were his takes, which I think a large part of them were planted in his head by Billy Gill, but these were his takes. So he did write it in that they're just basically transcribing his thoughts. So this is a Stugotz book dictated to Dan Stancic.
It's the greatest book. It's the greatest grift. It's art. It's the cosmos laughing.
It took him 5 years to figure out exactly how to write a book without writing it and collect in advance, but he finally got there.
He did with a big publishing house. Let me get this video here of this hippo, Ron. How is Dan Le Batard doing? What are any updates on Dan Le Batard, your hippo?
Hey, he's doing great. It's your hippo, Dan. He's doing great. I mean, he's a very popular. Whoa. That's a little dangerous right there. Holy cow.
Okay, so now what
security guard, he's not being very smart.
No, this security guard is smacking out of a hippo, and the hippo.
Hippo can bite his head off like a melon. He doesn't realize what he's doing there. That's a little crazy. That's a very dangerous move there.
Okay, and so this is not the way to do this. But
no,
you're saying because he's going to.
At least he's wearing a mask.
Let me see here. Let me see some videos here of some great apes being annoyed or annoying some of their elders here. I want you to tell me what it is that we're watching here, Ron.
Oh, this is just typical kids. Just want attention. They're being little brats, and that's their way of wanting attention. Kids are kids no matter what animal you're speaking about. Lion cubs will do the same thing to their parents. Primates are notorious for it. We tend to bond more because we see more of ourselves in the primates because we're primates ourselves. So you see this kid just being that obnoxious little kid. And everybody knows one of those. Everybody knows one of those. I know it's what's going to happen eventually. One of the adults is just going to slap him in yesterday, and that crap will stop.
Are there babies that are more annoying than others, more mischievous?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There's no question about it. There's no question about it. Just like in people, you have little spoiled brats that you want to slap their ears off, and then you have these great kids that are just really great kids.
How about species-wide? What is is there a more annoying child in one animal kingdom than in most of the others?
No, I think you'll find that generally the more intelligent the animal, the more diverse their behaviors of annoyance can be, and more that we can relate to. But generally speaking, animals, as soon as they become mobile, You know, it's like I remember when our first kid was born, as soon as he was walking, you go, oh my God, this is great. Look, he's taking his first steps. And then you learn what the hell that was going to be. And as soon as the second one was born, as soon as she started walking, I knocked her ass back down.
Ron, with the orcas being very critically endangered, do we know the whereabouts of every orca on the planet?
No, we don't. I think we know most of the pods. You know, there are pods, different pods in different areas of the world, but we certainly don't know the location of every orca on the planet. No.
Ron, I need to close here with, I can't believe I heard, I don't know if there's a schism, if there are problems in the front office or in ownership, but I heard there was a players-only meeting with the Cyclones, that the Cyclones season is off to a disastrous start. Ownership is in shambles, and you guys have, I don't know, is it mutiny on your hands? What's happening with the Cyclones and the...
It was the worst night of highlight in my life. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, those guys just, I don't know what happened to them. They just kind of gave up. They threw in the towel. It was like, I don't know what else to say. Listen, I am so invested in this game, in this team. And I thought the draft was really well done by Mike and the guys, but those guys just went out there and disappointed us. I just hope it was just a profoundly off night, because I want to tell you right now, I never dropped so many F-bombs in my life, and I just don't do that. It was just like, you know, what the F is going on here? I looked at Mike, I go, are we throwing this? Did somebody pay us off? What's going on here?
Well, explain this to me. Last time I went, it was the championship game. I was totally spoiled. It's a big night. The place is crowded. Udonis Haslem at the end of the night is shirtless and sliding on a floor in Champaign because they kicked the ass of the Cyclones. That was not a fun night. You're saying the most recent night was worse than that?
Yeah, because that at least was the finals. That's at least, you know, it's not bad when you lose in the Super Bowl. I understand that. We got there. That's good, okay? This is just a regular season against some schleps. El Barba, the guy who's a freaking looks like out of the damn Pirates of the Caribbean Medusa face, and he's out there, and he's beating us. The guy, I mean, it's like we put the cesta on our offhand. Like the right-handed guy said, we're going to play one on the left hand in the cesta today. That's what it looked like. I mean, there was so many unforced errors. It was like, and there was no aggression. They're all waiting for somebody else to make a mistake. Instead of going in there, two-wall them, do some drop shots, do something. Instead of just, okay, let's see if they drop it. Let's see if they drop it. That's what I felt was going on.
Mike Ryan?
I mean, he's nailing it. See, Ron Magill knows how to play like a Cyclone, and the rest of the team has apparently forgotten what it means to be a Cyclone. We've played 18 matches this year and only come away victorious 3 times. It is a disastrous start for the Cyclones. We are a proud franchise. We've made it to as many finals as anyone else in this proud league, and we need to turn things around beginning today. We held players. It was a closed-door meeting, even though it was out in the open. It was players only, even though I was there. And some
the
players
locker room doesn't
weren't
have doors.
there.
The locker room doesn't have doors.
It's just
one open
it's an
area.
open front time. They don't have big locker rooms. It's small.
Everything needs to change, and it needs to change starkly beginning right now. We don't just need to win. We need to start blowing teams out.
I got to tell you something. They should just take the thread of Mike Ryan's text that evening to the players during the matches. That would be some of the best reading on the planet, because I saw Mike typing so fast and words that I didn't even know existed.
You were insulting teams by text? You were insulting players by text, rather?
I insulted players direct to their face, Stan. Wow. You can't be playing so conservatively when you got the likes of El Barba out there. I think we only have one win against guys like fine players that have improved, but Joseph, Barba, Correa, these are Matt Bradley. These are matchups that you need to dominate, and we're not doing.
You were texting the players' phones while they were playing.
Yeah, I was texting some of the players as the games were going on. What's going on? Like, why aren't we being more aggressive? You have the front court advantage.
Why are you
make some guys run?
Chris, are you this meddlesome?
Chris wasn't there.
Yeah, I haven't been there. I had a concert to go to.
Yeah, thanks. Even though Chris is up there on the big wall with his big white hat as the owner.
Damn right. Thank you, Ron.
That's funny as hell.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
This is how I walk into the studio with Greg Cody, who never knows when the microphones are on around here or when they're not.
I didn't hear a countdown.
Greg Cody, as if the clocks would help you, as if we don't have enough proof of countdowns don't aid you. Greg Cody's coming in here, and he can't stop talking about Moss, can't stop talking about his band, doesn't care about doing the show well anymore, clearly, if you heard the last segment. He just left for 5 minutes and never came back.
He was in the eating area.
After
Commissary.
like, that was hugely insulting.
You kicked me out.
To go to the penalty box. You know that's part of the show, the penalty box. You created that thing.
I got waylaid. The paparazzi were out there. The flash bulbs are popping at me. I didn't know what to do. I got disoriented.
You
I apologize.
couldn't keep your laughter down. Am I wrong in saying Ron Magill was touched by that honor as a Miami honor? And
You laughed in his face
I
again?
know he was. That's what's funny to me. Our Bettor's Hall of Fame. I mean, it's probably a great hot dog. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm in the Costco Hall of Fame. I mean, what is this all about?
That would be also a big time, amazing thing to do.
I did it. I heard
only
about
be so
it
lucky.
for 6 months when the Fort Myers Miracle had a Greg Cody day.
Well, that was big. I mean, my name was on a marquee. You know, it was great. Got to sing the anthem. That was a real
Didn't
day.
you get somebody's name wrong?
I believe I did.
And you didn't sing the anthem. You sang the 7th inning stretch.
Whatever.
okay, very good.
They made me do an inning of play-by-play.
They made you.
Yeah.
Let's get to some sound here. I do want to get to some sports. Rick Pitino, I really enjoyed the Rick Pitino press conferences this year because he's at the bowels of hell. Like, this vampire continues to resurrect his career, and now he's at a school that used to mean something, and he's trying to bring back the glory days, and he is aggressively, Mike, that you're the expert here, that is aggressively dyed hair, correct? It's the only part
He's in the Hall of Fame.
It's the only part of the hair. It's the only part of his life that dies. We have an
He's going
assortment.
for like an orange hue.
Crazy.
Well,
He's avoided the jet black and now just opted for an aging with grace orange.
okay, you say aging with grace, but this is a champion. This guy was Calipari before Calipari. This guy could have been Coach K if you go, through the wiretaps and all the greasy underbelly of sneaker sales in that
Coach
sport.
Calipari fashioned his whole thing after Pitino, right?
Pitino is the original vampire mercenary used car salesman. I'll turn it into, I'll coach the Celtics. I'll coach the Knicks. I'm a god. And now he's working at the bowels of the system because this is the only job he can get. I can't believe he's back in the game. Like, I'm honestly stunned that he came and went. Like, that story of him in the restaurant, it should stick to you. Here is Rick Pitino after they've lost. Now he's just blaming everybody.
I don't think they move well laterally. I don't think they're going to pick it up in the next week. I think they're slow laterally. I mean, Sean Conway gives you everything he can. He's slow laterally. About 5 guys are slow laterally. Even the Celtics, when we lost, I've enjoyed every minute being a Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year, but this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching.
Do you have any second thoughts of taking this job?
No, not at all. It's not St. John's. It's my team. I think they're very respectful. They hear, but they don't listen. It's taken me a month to get them to throw bounce passes. Actually, 2 months to throw bounce passes.
How else could it end for him except with a bunch of losing where he will make sure it's not his fault? Like, that's how it ends for the old coach who's trying to hold on to the old times. I mean, it's kind of...
I don't think this is it ending for Pitino. I'm not ready to close the casket on him, but that's a really terrible look. That's an awful look. I guess he's pretty calculated. I don't think he's losing his marbles or anything like that. I think he genuinely has run out of ways to motivate these guys, and he has resorted to calling them out in public. But when is that ever a good look?
But that's not a motivation problem. He's saying out here, like, what he's saying is these people aren't good enough.
These guys just did it to the Cyclones right now. Mike just did it to all the guys on the Cyclones team.
Let me tell you something. It's not my first year as a Cyclone owner. I've been there since the franchise's inception. I know what it takes to be a Cyclone. And many of the players on our team also know what it takes to be a Cyclone. We have brought back our core. We are just not living up to our standards. And yes, do we have guys that are slow laterally? Absolutely. Absolutely. That doesn't prevent Manu from being one of the best backquarters in the world. Manu, when you're out there, go be Manu.
Be Manu.
Ikeda, when you're out there, go be Ikeda.
Pitino also brought in a bunch of these guys. Like I was reading an article where these players he's talking about were transfers from places that he brought in, and it's like, look in the mirror here, bud.
Well, he can't. He's a vampire.
That's right. That's right. That is, that's exactly correct. I'm honestly, though, I am stunned that the sport has gotten dirty enough publicly that Pitino is able to slither back in through a back door, given what his scandals were.
Look, this could be just where we are on timelines, because my life as a sports fan, it's been dominated in the collegiate ranks by guys like Saban, Gino, Rick Pitino. And if you see all of them reckoning with what the NCAA is now and how the playing field to a very large degree has been leveled, you don't have full autonomy over the sport anymore where you can microwave a dynasty the way that Rick Pitino is used to. All of these guys, including Auriemma, who's been a really bizarre quote this year. If you followed anything about Connecticut's basketball season, Gino sounds like a totally different dude. All these guys that used to do it one way and maybe did it one way with impunity are starting to realize that the talent is being more distributed now, and they're having a very difficult time with it.
Pitino is in that job because he's a legend. There are very few resumes like that could even withstand that level of scandal so that he can make his way back through the bowels of what used to be a tradition-rich program back in a conference that mattered, but then the whole thing changed. Like when Belichick isn't working for anybody, you have a generational shift with value and young people, and it wouldn't be hard for me to explain to the audience why hungry 20 and 30-year-olds who learned a bunch of things about how to navigate the space now, or 40 years old, because that sport in particular is still kind of run by the old guys. That sport is still run by the guys who've always been running like the shadow labyrinth of the sneaker sales and the FBI wiretaps. Bill Self is still winning in that sport. It's the other sports that are changing.
Self is still doing it. He's probably one to keep an eye on as someone. He's also of a certain age where he can age into the next incarnation of basketball, even though many of his contemporaries have called Kansas out for how much they cheat.
Wouldn't you guys, though, say to me, like, Mike, you're in the bowels of this system. Wouldn't you say to me that you could understand how somebody Pitino's age might not know how to navigate the modern-day business labyrinth?
Yeah,
like to get the best, to have a competitive advantage getting the best players.
To tap into some of our previous discussion about the new generation, I really hate doing that, but there is a different mentality now and a whole different approach, and we're seeing it across all sports. Guys like Jose Mourinho, even Thomas Tuchel to a degree is struggling this. Antonio Conte, there are certain approaches. Bill Belichick, Saban, Coach K, who came from a military, he was a Bob Knight guy. There is a sea change when it comes to the mentality of sports, and I think it kind of underscores that this isn't something that can necessarily be taught. You either have that dog in you or you don't. And when it comes to scouting, if you want your team to reflect a certain personality trait, you kind of have to prioritize intangibles in ways that we haven't really seen before, because generationally, players don't have that type of motivation ingrained in them.
Do you guys understand how difficult it must be for someone like Pitino to navigate the modern generational cultural shift of he's old enough to be their grandfather? It's not even their father. It's their grandfather. He might be old enough, close enough to be their great-grandfather. Like, how does that person
That's safe for Lou Carnesecca, who's still with us, by the way, Dano. 99 years young.
Well, is he really?
Yeah.
I mean, there were ways
That's
to
an
tap
upset.
in. There were ways to.
I was looking. I was
That's
like,
an upset.
Because I know they named the quarter after him. I was like, look, what if Rick can go in and really touch these young guys by getting a legend like Lou Carnesecca in the building? And then I realized he was 99 years old. And I was like,
that would be hard.
It's a great-great-grandfather.
Or you could lower yourself to just TikTok dancing in front of your team after they win. That worked for Coach L the last 2 seasons.
Does it not dawn on anybody, though, that it might be hard for someone like that to connect with modern generation and modern business and modern young people?
There, books will be written on how to appeal to a younger generation, because it does seem navigating that does seem to be a huge challenge for coaches. And you see a guy like Eric Spoelstra, be curious to see how he ages within his sport, but they also have a very distinct scouting nature. Inside the front office and the head coach are tethered to the type of intangibles that they attract.
I've got a good stat of the day here. Play the music real quick here on stat of the day involving what he just said about the Miami Heat.
There is no playing this song in particular very quickly.
Yeah, thing broke. Yeah.
Well, we could do the long.
if
We could do
searching
the
a
long
little bit.
version.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is
You
the
okay,
start
Chris?
of the day.
You know, it's not easy.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Today's stat of the day is brought to you by Venmo and PayPal.
In the last 10 months, the Milwaukee Bucks have had as many coaches as the Miami Heat has had since 1995.
That's when I was born.